Well, we know what it feels like when our cars are out of balance. They might pull, it might vibrate.
Balance is also important to the body, and even the smallest misalignment can impact you head to toe.
Dr. Drew Drummond sees it all the time. He's with the Spinal Balance Health Center. Welcome back, Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Drummond.
Good to be
We're
here.
talking symmetry, right?
Yeah.
Symmetry is so important when it comes to your back.
Yeah, it is.
Your overall health, really.
Yeah, it is. And it's taken for granted. Most people don't think about their symmetry, but the symmetry of the body does a lot for us. Number one, it just allows us to distribute the gravitational forces evenly. If you, take the example of like the Twin Towers, that's been a big thing here lately because of 9/11 yesterday. But the way a big building is braced, it's so that it distributes all those millions of tons of force evenly and it doesn't fall over. But when that plane came in, it just disrupted the symmetry of the building and down it came. And your body's the same way. You're designed in a way that you're symmetrical and all of gravitational forces are being evenly dispersed throughout your whole framework. And when that doesn't happen properly, you'll have joints that are sore. Oh, the little head here, the pictures you're seeing here, a symmetrical body compared to a non-symmetrical body. And the right-hand side, where the muscles are pulling nice and evenly on the framework, you would have an even dispersion of forces throughout that framework. And on the left-hand side, you can see muscles that are tight on the right versus the left, and it will pull the body off of its symmetry. And
how uncomfortable are they walking around like that where your body is getting pulled that severely? That's got to be an impossible way of living.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of people will look at their symmetry and they'll think, well, I was just born with that. And they're not necessarily born with these problems. They usually come later in life. Through, like kids can have broken bones and it'll go through their growth plate, issues like this where the muscles are pulling unevenly, which is the most common reason for it to happen. But yeah, with stress like that, accumulating over decades and decades and decades, eventually it's going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, but you help people at the Spinal Balance Health Center get that symmetry back. And it really relieves a whole lot of other symptoms.
Yeah, it does. I've got a picture here of what we exactly fix. The head and neck should be straight up in line, like this picture on the left is showing. And in that position, the nerves at the top of the neck function the way they're supposed to. And some of the function at the top of the neck is to control your posture. So if you look at the right-hand picture, that would look like what would happen if somebody has an accident or an injury throughout their life. And it can be childhood accidents, it can be athletic accidents, it can be car accidents. But in that picture on the right, it shows the top bone being interfered with, or what would happen when the bone is being interfering with the nervous system. And then you lose total disruption of the back muscles, one tightening more than the other, and then that tumbles into all kinds of different symptoms.
Give us a list of the symptoms. The patients come in, and in an average week, what do you see?
Yeah, the easy one, the obvious one is joint issues, because you're putting more stress in certain joints. But when the body's off of its center of gravity, it's also going to cause some muscles to work harder than the others. You should be balanced. When you're not, you'll get muscle spasms, tightness, soreness, tenderness of the muscles. And then also, all of your nerves throughout your body are branching off through little holes in foramen and outlets in the body. And when you're off your proper symmetry, then any number of nerves can be affected. And then it's digestive problems, heart and lung issues, headaches, digestive problems, bladder issues.
Fibromyalgia, headaches, low back. Those are the three that stand out to me where you've seen a lot of great improvement.
But what I think is fascinating is your focus is on this small bone at the top of the neck, and that small bone, that can affect the symmetry of the entire body.
You wouldn't think such a small problem would. It's one of the reasons why it goes so unnoticed, and what we tend to do is we want to deal with the symptoms. Somebody has a pain, they want to get out of it right away, and it's hard to trace a symptom all the way back 20 steps to the atlas. So when we fix the atlas and just see what gets better afterwards, we'll see all these different symptoms improve, where it's hard for a doctor to look at acid reflux and trace it back. There's just nobody to
Is that why a lot of these conventional therapies for some patients who say, well, I've been to this specialist, or I tried this, it didn't work? That's a common story.
If most of the patients that we have, it's after a long struggle going from doctor to doctor, professional to professional, trying to figure out how to relieve these symptoms until finally they're referred into us, or they maybe see me on the morning blend, where they start learning, wow, this isn't just about a symptom.
It's a light bulb moment.
It's, it's
if only you weren't the last resort,
I know.
Doc.
I know.
So how do people out there know if they're good candidates for your type of treatment?
I would just have to look at them. I can typically look at a person in the first 10 minutes, and I can see if their body is asymmetrical in a way that it's being caused by an upper cervical misalignment. And if I see those indicators, then I simply take x-rays. It's a very specific set of x-rays. There's only, I think, 3 x-ray machines in Nebraska that are certified to do it in this way. But once we look at the films, I can see the misalignment, I can measure it, it tells us what we need to do. And then we just straighten the body up and the healing process begins.
It's a lot of trigonometry. What he does is he's looking at the angles and doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
You're
there's
like,
a lot of math involved
that wasn't my thing in school, but Dr. Drummond clearly excelled, because that's really what it's about now, is recognizing where is that bone at the moment, and then these really gentle adjustments. If you're like, listen, if it's invasive, if it's you don't want to try it, this is so gentle.
Yeah.
Some people don't even realize he's doing anything.
Yeah.
We've heard that too. So we've got this special offer
Fantastic,
that speaks back to those specialized x-rays, this whole bundle with Dr. Drummond for just $50, but it's limited to the first 15 people who call.
Doc, right there, Spinal Balance Health Center, Spinal Balance. At yahoo.com if you want to send a quick email. Is that another way to get in the front door?
You can email us, you can call, you can grab me on the street. It's the whole
you can wait right outside the Script Studios here when he comes out.
But again, that offer limited to just 15 people. It's such a good deal. So we know many of you have taken advantage, and hopefully you're feeling better than ever. Thank you, Dr. Drummond.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Good to see you.
We're doing something a little different.